Astrologically speaking, this video is a fire sign. It is air and bones. Everything it touches is changed, often beyond recognition. Fire is the energy of change and transmutation. It circulates architectural structures, and it can be seen governing various organ systems, tissues, constitutional states, capital, and other dynamics within our bodies. Matter and mind sip and mingle with each other. These substances are themselves sites of rupture caused by hunger and contamination, where transformation of matter into energy is manifest. The ergo-alkaloids occupy an important chapter in the history of revolution and natural drugs. As toxins, they were responsible for the mass poisonings in the Middle Ages until today, caused by the consumption of rye bread contaminated with a parasitic fungus. Bosch's painting, The Temptation of St. Anthony, possibly depicts the epidemic society was suffering from in many countries in medieval Europe. On the other hand, the use of ergo as a medical drug is ancient and mainly used by women, and became more developed and studied by midwives, herbalists, and healers. As Benjamin might say, the most forgotten alien land is one's own body. The painting represents the life cycle of the fungus, as well as Anthony's life in 3 panels. The common natural remedy used to heal ergotism was the mandrake fruit and plantain wine, a potent herbal narcotic and anesthetic that also had psychedelic properties. The alkaloids are contained both in the red fruit and the human-shaped root of the mandrake. One can imagine that mandrake and ergot are en route from the chemical world of delirium, an inhibited combination into the earthly world of suffering brought by the disease. Achieved through a psychedelic process, how intoxicated people looked at the world had a strong influence on alchemical, astrological, and tarot studies, as well as on eroticism and the heretics. Ladders and demons going up the sky, fish-eye view of the battle, the mills and hospitals in flames, dance mania sculpted in a relief on the wall of the apothecary's tower, flying fish boats with fabric fluttering from the poles. He is taking their hand and saying, "Ride with me in an ashtray-powered automobile, and will all the pleasures prove that stately mountain." The main character of the left panel is Anthony. He fell from the sky, and his peers are raising him. At the top of the sash, the saints fold his hands in prayer. Monsters come out of a huge red mandrake fruit. Their leader, the devil, plays the harp. In the background, there is a wizard who is leading a parade towards a tavern, with a human shape which is both a vessel and a cell. Big fish will swallow little fish. At the bottom of the canvas, Bosch depicted a flying duck without a head, on the neck of which there is a small window, from which a demon looks out. The ground under our feet is no longer solid. Walking on thin ice, it is easy to fall off. The central panel is based on the ability of refusing temptations. The priestesses are represented in a ritual conducting the Mass. A priestess raises a frog in the air that has been born on a plate, which is also holding an egg. The procession is followed by the musicians, and we can see a face cracking in a mandrake root pushed by dogs with a leash, on the way to the ceremony. A black-dressed singer has a pig face, which is the symbol of St. Anthony, and an owl seen as an allegory of heresy above his head. An amputated foot lies on the floor, forgotten on top of a cloth. Below, a clerk shows a rotting body underneath its cape, as if words decompose it while he is reading. On the right, Anthony is presented to the viewer as a knight of firm faith who defeated evil forces. Fire swings rapturously from palaces built of forms resembling apothecaries. In the foreground, a table of luxuries with contaminated bread and a jar of wine on top, while the parasite observes the transformation of anything it touches. Colorless, tasteless, odorless, the ergo melts with the bread and is seen as a magical bullet, a torso, horse's hoof, a mouse, a petrified body hammer. History has no neck. It emerges directly from the stomach. Instinctively, I see her face as the glowing orbs of her hip bones morph into two eyes. She is pregnant, peeping from a hollow trunk through a tent, which is being kept open by a toad. Her skin seems to dissolve in the heat, and I lost track where her body started or stopped. Love can make you witch. You will dive on yourself and be reborn through others. She is a machine for producing affection. Under the biopolitical gaze, bodies are dissected into parts, organs, then cells and finally molecules. Separated from its specific contexts, the gene, like the algorithm, is a way of producing distance and detachment from the concrete and lived experience. Neoliberal regimes of biocapital produce the body as never healthy enough and as always in a debilitated state in relation to what one's body capacity is imagined to be. What are we looking at when we come too close?